What's going on, everybody? Matt from Oz Lego Collections. Welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be doing an alternate build on the Dark Trooper attack set. Now, as a standalone, it is a really cool looking set. It does come with 4 minifigs, so you get 3 Dark Trooper attack figs and a Luke Skywalker fig. It does come with a couple of playability features as well, which is really cool, and comes in at a price point of around 50 Australian dollars or 30 US dollars. Now, obviously, when Lego designed it, they have made it to be expandable, which is exactly what we're aiming to do today. And in order to do that, we have had to acquire an extra 2 sets. So we are looking to make the corridor as accurate to the show as possible, and obviously adding some corridors along the edges of the build as well. Also, guys, once we've completed the set, I am going to show you how you can add some LEDs just to add a little bit more magic to the build and overall enhance the look. Now, we are going to be using some Light My Bricks components, such as Luke Skywalker's lightsaber and some individual LEDs, which we're going to add through the corridor and just in some spots where I think will look good lit up. Now, if you're interested in using these lights for the build, the links are in the description down below, so make sure you go check them out. And there will also be a discount code down below that you can use. Okay, so before we jump into it, you guys know my drill. Remember to hit the subscribe button down below and turn on all your notifications. Give this video a big thumbs up if you like it. And remember to comment down below and let me know what you guys think of the alternate build and the set overall. Okay guys, so we're gonna start by building the first set. Then we're gonna incorporate the other 2 to expand the corridor. So let's open it up and check out what we got. Okay, so we've got a sticker sheet, which we're going to be needing and using from the other 2 boxes as well to expand the corridor. We've got our instruction manual and we've got a couple of bags. So let's get into it. First set, and this is basically what it's going to look like straight out of the box once you've assembled it. Now, as you can see, there's the playable features we were discussing earlier, where Luke uses the Force to send the Dark Trooper flying. You also got another spinning function around here, and obviously the entrance where Luke Skywalker comes in. Now, as you can notice, it won't actually work with Luke Skywalker holding the lightsaber. He'll just sort of fly off. So you will need to take the lightsaber off in order for him to be able to get through the door much easier. And then you can basically just attach the lightsaber on once he's spun the correct way. They've also added some really cool stickers all along the side of the corridor to replicate the corridor in the show, so that looks quite good. Now we're going to crack open the other 2 boxes and start adding everything to extend the corridor. So we're going to start by grabbing the other 2 bags and taking everything out and start figuring out exactly how we want to extend this corridor. Now, most likely, I'm not going to keep the playable features. I'm going to probably get rid of all of those. And I am thinking of completely tiling the whole corridor because I think it would look a lot nicer and a little bit more accurate to the one in the show. So now that we've opened the other two boxes and roughly organized all our pieces and what we want to use to create the extended corridor, also adding the stickers to the rest of the pieces that we need, we're going to start mapping out the bottom layout of the corridor and gauge a bit of an idea on how we want it to look. Okay, so we finally got all our floor down, and as you can see, it is already much bigger than the original build. So it's sitting on about 34 studs in length by about 14 studs in width. And I've also got an extra 7 studs out on this edge here for the extended corridor. Now, I have tried to make the base as rigid as possible because I am going to be tiling the entire corridor, and I don't want any of the plates or tiles to fall through as I go. So I've done my best to make it as sturdy as possible, and hopefully that should do the trick. Now, you're probably wondering why I've added all these extra plates all around the outer edge of the build. Now, because I'm going to be tiling it, once I add all the walls around the edge, I much rather the walls sit on top of the tiling rather than butting up to it. I think it would just look a lot nicer and neater once it's all done. So I've just mapped out where all the walls and everything are going to go. And that way, once I start laying down all the walling, it'll look really nice. Okay, so I think we should start adding some of the walls now. I've pre-done most of them over here and started mapping out how I want them all to go, as well as the entrance. So let's jump into it and start adding some. Okay, so we've got the front part of the corridor done and the entrance, so everything still works as per the original build. Now I've also extended out the walls on the corridor like we mentioned, so that's coming along really nice. Now I did add these extra columns all along here because it is a lot more accurate to the show, so I wanted to try and keep it as accurate as possible, and I think they just really finish off the whole front area and side corridor very nicely. The back of the build is not really much to look at, but just from this angle here, the corridor looks really, really good. I'm super happy with that. So now we'll continue and finish the rest of the corridor wall. Okay, so we've gone ahead and added all the panels to finish the corridor off. I did decide to add a sliding door towards the end of the corridor and finish it off with these panels that we have left over to create a sliding door effect, very similar to how it is in the show. I think that just looks really nice and overall finishes the back end of the corridor. Now, I also decided to add a strip of plates and finish it off with some tiles along this front area here. It just looked a bit unfinished to me, and I also thought that it would be a really good idea to stabilize these two columns a little bit more, and overall I think it does look quite nice. You can still see the build really easily through this area. It creates kind of like a window and doesn't block anything off, and that was my main concern. But overall, I do really think this panel is a good finish. Let me know what you guys think. Now, as you can also see, I've started tiling all the way at the back where the panels are. And as I mentioned earlier, you can see how the panels are sitting nicely along the tiles. And that's the look we were trying to go for. So I think it came out really nice. I've also started tiling the side corridor, and that's really taking shape as well. So now what we're going to do is we're going to finish tiling all the corridor and finish the sliding door and then start adding some of the LEDs. Okay, so we finished the sliding doors at the rear of the corridor, and they open up fairly smooth and real easy, and they look fantastic. Now I also did finish the top part with a little bit of detail mirroring the front of the corridor, and may even add the decals at the top. I haven't decided that yet. Now I also decided to take a different approach with the right corner of the corridor and close the top section off, I think it does finish it really nicely, and you can still see the corridor quite well. Once we add an LED light in that, you'll definitely be able to see it a lot more. So from any angle, you can pretty much see it. So I wasn't too concerned that I'd be cutting off any visibility of that area. But I do think it finishes that corridor off really nicely. So we haven't finished tiling the corridor just yet. The reason is because we're now going to run all the wiring for the LEDs. It also allows us to hide the wiring once we add the tiles back, so that way they're all out of sight and it looks nice and clean. So first we're going to start off by lighting up Luke Skywalker's lightsaber. So we'll remove the original one and replace it with the lightsaber that has the LED. Attach it to Luke Skywalker. Now what you want to do is we are going to thread the wiring through the legs and out to the side. And once we actually run the wiring properly, the whole idea is you do not see any of the wiring of the lightsaber from this angle. So okay, so Luke Skywalker's lightsaber is now wired through. As you can see, I've hidden the wiring underneath the tile there. Once you put the cape, you will not see anything, and it's run through the entrance door and out the back. So now we'll go ahead and add some of the LEDs through the corridor, and we're also going to light up the entrance. Now, when installing lights, you do unfortunately have to remove some of the build to get to places and also be able to thread the wiring. As you can see, we've taken apart some of the build already, but it's fairly easy to put back on, and it's only a very minor amount of parts that you need to remove, but the result in the end will look fantastic. So let's continue lighting up the rest of the build. Okay guys, all the lights are now fitted throughout the build. We've used a total of 4 LEDs, one under the beam right here. The second light, obviously, in Luke Skywalker's lightsaber. We've also added one in the main entrance point, and the last one underneath the right side of the corridor. Now, we also went ahead and finished tiling the rest of the corridor, and I'm really happy with how that's turned out. It looks so much more accurate to the show and a much cleaner finish as opposed to having all the studs exposed. So now we're going to go ahead and finish tiling the rest of the right side of the corridor, add the Dark Trooper minifigs, and finally give you the full reveal. And had as much fun as I did creating the alternate build for the Dark Trooper attack set. Now remember, if you have any questions about the build, feel free to leave them in the comments below and I'll be more than happy to answer them for you. Also, don't forget, I do have the links in the description for the LEDs if you wish to light it up. Also, don't forget, I will be giving away one of these sets at the end of the month, so make sure you hit the subscribe button down below and turn all your notifications on. Give this video a big thumbs up if you like it, and most importantly, leave a comment down below and let me know what you guys think of the Dark Trooper attack set and the alternate build. And with that being said, I hope you have a great day, stay safe, and we'll catch you in the next video. See ya.